Welcome everyone. My name is Jeffrey Goodman. I'm the Director of Marketing and Development for the YMCA of Northwest Louisiana. I'm very excited to be back for episode 2 of our new podcast interview series here at the Y that's entitled Shreveport-Bossier, My City, My Community, My Home. And today's guest, every guest will be a different person that represents a different cross-section of the community, if you will. Today's guest I'm very excited to have here is Gabriel Balderas, and I'm not going to give you a bio of Gabriel, but you'll learn it as we converse today. So I'm gonna hop right in. I've got a series of questions for Gabriel. Sit back, enjoy. This is going to be great. Oh, and last thing, Gabriel has not seen the questions in advance. That's a very important piece to let everyone out there know. So Gabriel, first question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up in Oaxaca, moved to the States when you were 16, lived in Chicago,
Sure.
Kentucky, Birmingham, and Washington DC. Can you talk a little bit about how you got to Shreveport-Bossier?
Sure, and I want to thank you for having me. When you first called me, I was excited. I think that we need more of this. To answer your question, I came to Shreveport through the restaurants. There was a restaurateur in town that brought me here with the intention of opening up a restaurant in South Louisiana, in New Orleans. And when they brought me here, they were like, we would like for you to stay here and help us. And 14 years later, I'm still here. So it was for me, it was at the time I was living in Birmingham, and I recently purchased a home in Birmingham. My second son had just been born, and it was a difficult choice to make, to move away when we were just settling in Birmingham, and we took the job, and 14 years later, we're still here. Excited to be here in Shreveport.
So what did Shreveport-Bossier feel like or look like to you when you arrived? What did you notice?
Coming from a different city, I do want to say that, I feel like you step back in time. I feel like this. It's a city where there are things that I hadn't at the time. I see it with a different perspective now, but at the time, I felt like the city, was sort of like not so updated, and it needed, quite a bit of upkeep from that perspective. When you get to meet the people, the culture, it's very welcoming, and that's one thing that I really think that it's important for everyone here to acknowledge, that we have a very welcoming community, and very good community.
So Gabriel, you are Hispanic, one of Shreveport-Bossier's numerous ethnic populations. Can you talk about the Hispanic population locally? Do you feel like it is a healthy population? And are the Hispanics locally unified?
That's a tough question. It is the community here is growing, is definitely growing. I'm seeing more and more people migrating or moving into our city. I do feel like as a city as a whole, we're not quite there to welcome the Hispanic community. We are in a way, but we're not in a sense of offering or providing guidance and services to the Hispanics. I feel like we have a lot of work to do as a community. There's a lot of people here, of course, that do construction. That's most of the jobs are available for the Hispanic community. I do feel like as a community, most of the Hispanic community live in the shadows. And there's some work, there are a couple organizations here locally that do provide some help for people that migrate into the city. I do think that at a local level, our city officials, both Shore and Shreveport, could do more. Definitely, that's as a Hispanic, of course, what I do day in and day out, most of my employees are Hispanics. And we do have, in one of our restaurants, we have United Nations, we have 7 different nationalities working for us. And I do think that a lot of our part of our, as employers, that's what we do a lot of the time. We have to provide that support for the employees that we have, that I believe that organizations like, the schools, churches or non-profits could do, for the new people that are moving into our city. And I feel like that there is quite a bit of work to do on that end.
So Gabriel, many people know you as the owner and chef of 2 great local restaurants, El Cabo Verde and Zuzul. But what most people don't know is that you're also a board member of the Metropolitan Planning Commission. Talk to me about your work on the Planning Commission. How did it come about, and why is serving as a board member on the MPC important to you?
I do believe that, it was, we were appointed by the Cabo Commission. The Cabo Commission appointed me to be a board member. And to me, of course, I'm having 2 restaurants, 4 kids. It was, I feel privileged to be appointed by the board. And of course, I think to be a board member here, it's I never thought I would be a board member or would be appointed, because what I do day in and day out, being in a restaurant, we do get to work with the community. We do, at one point we did a school gardening program for at school here in Shreveport. We kept the program for 4 or 5 years. We like to reach out and work with the children, the community. Of course, I have, being a father, that gives us, I have to invest. I have to, make our community better, in my own way. And I think that's part of us making this community better, putting our effort into, whether it's the MPC as a board member, whether it's a coaching soccer, whether it's, overseeing a community garden for children or participating. We have to invest in our children, our future. It's important. As a board member, I do think that our city needs we need a whole lot of planning. And I feel like it's not being done. And being on the board, I feel like that is one thing that we can pursue. You know, we have a city that our south part of our city it's growing, it's new construction, new development. Our inner city, it's abandoned. We have a lot of properties that are just abandoned, and we need to figure out a way, we need to plan, you know, at the city level, at the state level, what are the things that we can be doing to fill those areas, to bring a community back, to create community for the people that, you know, really I'm looking for them. You know, we humans beings tend to look for them, look for community. And I think that if you come up with planning, you know, a design of what you want your city to look like the next 5 to 10 years, we have a lot of work to do. You know, we need to bring the private investment, we need to bring the our local officials at the city level and come up with ideas of how can we change that. You know, we have the resources, we have the infrastructure. We just need to come up with a plan. And to me, that is our goal to, as MPC board member, is to work across parties, work across state and city agencies, and bring a plan for our city.
So you touched on this a little bit, but I know this about you. You value this community and are often giving back, whether it's by committing to utilize ingredients from local growers or overseeing a garden at a local elementary school. How did you learn such a sense of community? Who taught you that? And where does that come from?
Well, that's an interesting question. You know, my upbringing was, you know, I grew up in where I'm from, it's a rainforest. It's the third largest rainforest in Mexico. So, you know, we have everything. We have all the resources. We have food everywhere. Food that grows on its own, that you don't necessarily have to plant it and take care of it and water it. None of that. And so, you know, at an early age, I learned that you need food and water. We got to take care of these. Also, mom and grandmother were very, you know, influential as early in my, you know, growing up, and that was important for me, that, you know, I got to see that example from my grandma and mother, that, you know, you can do with little bit, you can do a whole lot. You know, always growing up in the church, you know, used to be, I was the type of kid that was at church Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, I lived at church, and that taught me a lot. You know, community service, volunteering, you know, helping the need. To me, that's always been important. You have to want to do these things in a community, because otherwise, you know, if you don't do that, you don't pitch in, you don't put an effort into that, then who else is going to do it? So you have to be willing to put effort and work to create the community you want to see, and what you want what you want your children to have, and your grandchildren, and the generations to follow.
So, what do you feel is holding us back from being one of the next great cities in the United States, what are some areas of the community you feel can be improved upon?
I think a community, when we talk about community, to me, we have to talk about meeting the basic human needs of every individual here in our city. And then we have to talk about these things that are important. Social programs, events where you can involve, all walks of life and offer services that our community is lacking, whether it's education, finding the resources for those that don't have, making those resources available to them. I do feel like Shreveport and Bossier, we have everything that is required to be a city that's thriving, a community as one of our best cities here in the United States. We have everything. I do feel like we have this, we're sort of divided by, party lines, our backgrounds, and until we're able to come up, and be willing to work together and see eye to eye, and leave politics aside, I think we can become a better community. I do think that, as a whole, individuals like you, there's a few members in the community that are willing to do that and create Shreveport-Bossier a thriving community. And I think we all want that. I feel like we have this mindset where we look at things in a negative way. Like especially, I talk to people from Shreveport every day, and Shreveport has this, has that. But I think that we have to highlight the positive things that Shreveport has, and focus on that, and work from there on into creating a community that we all want to see.
So this is my final question. As you look around, what makes you prideful of Shreveport-Bossier?
Well, I think that there are a lot of things that I'm proud of, and there are a lot of things that I'm thankful for. I have, both of my businesses are here. I'm very thankful. I'm very, very thankful of our community. I'm a firm believer that to raise a child, to raise a business, you need a community. And those are the two things to me that are important, and we think about these every day at our restaurants, that we're thankful day in and day out of our community that supports us. And we believe that, I couldn't think of a better place to have a business and to, raise my children. Our city has, a perfect size city. We have the infrastructure, we have the resources. Shreveport has everything that a person would want. As a business owner, as a father, as a son, as a daughter, as a mother. Shreveport has everything that it's required. And I'm proud to be in this community. I'm proud to call Shreveport home. Going back to the question you asked me about supporting the local farmers, and that's one of the things that I'm more proud. When I first moved here 14 years ago, we didn't have that. we didn't have local producers. We didn't have that many farmers. You know, after 14 years of being here, now we've gone from having little, almost zero, to having four, I want to say, 3 big farmers in town around our area, and they're doing really well. Our community is supporting them. Our community, it's back in this business of, and to me that is really unique, because that's what creates community. You know, you have a local farmer growing food that's going to strictly provide the need of locals. I think that's one of the steps in the right direction for our community, to create local producers, local farmers, keep the spending money here in this area. To me, that's one thing that I'm really proud of, and also we have been a very major players in that role, because we have supported these farmers from the beginning, and now these farmers have grown, and you know, I'm proud of being part of it as a customer, as a restaurateur, and as a father, and as a Shreveport resident.
Gabriel, thank you so much for making the time and being a part of this today. The community is really fortunate to have you here.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having us. I do think that there's a lot more to say. I just wanted to kind of, you know, I don't know if I really answer those questions to, you know, really to the actual questions, you know. It's kind of hard to, my mind is kind of going all over the place, but I do think that this community, we need more of this. We need more of highlighting our city. There are a lot of things that, you know, or even our Shreveport residents don't know about. And I think that we need to take the time and make the effort to you know, cherish this, you know about these things, learn about these things that we have here in Shreveport-Bossier, and you know, we have a lot of history, we have a lot of good things going here, and I do think that it's the beginning. I do see our city, you know, taking the steps in the right direction.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.